Welcome to the Digital Customer Experience Podcast by Kiosk. I'm thrilled to bring you stories, insights, and expert opinions on the ever evolving world of digital customer experience. Today, we have the privilege of hosting an extraordinary guest, Carlos Eid, Executive Medical Director, Cardiovascular in Novartis International Medical Affairs. With an impressive tenure of 13 years at Novartis, Carlos has not only excelled in his field, but also transformed it. He has led global teams with a visionary approach, but what sets Carlos apart is his unique blend of talents. He's not just a respected figure in the medical community, he's also a gifted storyteller and a musician. Join us as we explore the insights and experiences of a man who seamlessly bridges the worlds of medicine, leadership, and arts. Get ready to meet Carlos Eid. Welcome, Carlos.
I thank you so much, Daniel, for this introduction. You really humbled me with all the things that you said, but I'm really happy to be here, and thank you so much for this opportunity to share and to have a nice discussion with you on several topics.
Lovely to have you. I'm just, as I read through your intro and I was going through your profile, I just found like how fascinating background that you have. You are a musician, you are a doctor, and you are a head of, executive medical director of the global team. I have a question. How do these diverse experiences create harmony in life and in leadership? How does it influence everything you do?
Well, that's a good question. Maybe you can add on that also a father of two girls. Uh,
Wow.
so yeah, so look, I mean, every part of that background definitely plays a role in life. You have learnings, and then also you apply things that you learn or that you experience from those different aspects into your own life, and it impacts your own leadership style also. So if I start by being a father, definitely dealing with a family, the responsibilities, the leadership that you have to display with your family, the empathy, the love, the unconditional love. So all of these, impact your style, and also the way you act and react in the world. And you add on top of that also, being a doctor, everything I've learned, the Hippocratic Oath, the make no harm, the passion I have to, bring innovation, or also to make sure that patients get treated on time and they live longer lives. And then I combine that with me moving into pharma, where I could have even a larger footprint, a larger impact on patients worldwide. And then, of course, last but not least, the music, which is part of everything I do. It teaches you harmony. It teaches you, um, I don't know how to express it, but music teaches you a lot of things. It teaches you order. Uh, it teaches you harmony. It teaches you rhythm. It calms you down when you need to be calmed down. It hypes you up when you really need that kick and that energy. So yeah, I think a blend of all of that has really helped shape me to what I am now.
What a great blend. I even saw in our before we started the podcast, you have like a DJ equipment behind you.
I'm still
So what
learning.
what sort of music do you play? Are you a composer? Are you play some instruments? What is music for you?
So as a kid, I started by singing. So I used to sing in choirs and concerts, and then I added on top of that playing the piano or the keyboard also for several years, like 8 9 years, and then I sang in a band for a very short while. It was just um, a short experience that I wanted to have, and in terms of composing music, I do so, but not on a professional scale. Just on my keyboard or using things like GarageBand or Fruity Loops. I used to like to compose some sort of tunes and harmonies, writing songs. Um, so and lately I wanted to really go more. more into other stuff like mixing and DJing. So I thought, why not? And I started learning it in my free time, and it's actually amusing.
It's beautiful to hear the journey of you starting to singing, going to the choir, then learning piano, and then becoming a composer, or trying to compose, and then now mixing. The love for your music just keeps continuing. It evolves into a complete package of you becoming a composer, a musician, a singer. And can we expect to see an album from you someday soon?
No.
All right. So now, just I want to move forward to ask you another question, like because you have been a doctor, like a medical doctor. Like, what made you choose the pharmaceutical industry? And coming from the background that you are, how did your family react to you? So like, okay, no longer want to be a doctor, but do something else similar. How did they react?
So, so two things you mentioned,
Yeah.
um, which are kind of myth that maybe we can bust those myths. So first, I'm still a doctor. It's
All
not
right.
like I kind of left that profession behind. And
Yeah.
the second is that it's not that you're switching in terms of I'm no longer a doctor, I'm working in pharma. No, I'm a doctor in pharma. So
Yeah.
the thing is, I bring in the the insights, the knowledge, the let's say the physician perspective, let's say, and the knowledge and the experience, as I mentioned, bringing in this let's say physician aspect in order to really bring in the patient voice, the voice of our peers and other physicians across the world who are treating patients, and really having a greater impact. So if I were still just in a clinic, maybe my impact would be on how many thousand patients,
Yeah.
2,000
Yeah.
throughout my career, 5,000. Um, However, when you work in pharma, the footprint and the impact that you can help do with the teams across the world is massive. We're talking about millions of patients, and this is what really brings the satisfaction. As I wanted to become a doctor to have an impact on patient lives, and now thanks to this industry, I'm able to have that impact on a wider scale and feel satisfied every day I'm back home saying that, okay, whatever activity or trial or study or research that we have done or education, we are helping tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of patients across the globe get better healthcare or get also live longer and better lives.
Oh, that's an amazing perspective. Like you chose to become a doctor to help people, and then you realize that I can help and impact, 1,000 times more if I just make this, switch to a, pharmaceutical professional. I just want to, you and I know what is
But
that
you
you
got
do.
it.
Yeah.
You got it. The thing is that my parents didn't get it at that point.
Okay.
So
I understand, right? Because if that is exactly why I'm going forward to the next part is like, you are a doctor, you are an executive medical director. For people who don't know, what is an executive medical director? What does he do?
okay, so before getting to that, because this was also an explanation at that time, I had to explain to my parents what an MSL is because I started my
Yeah.
career as an MSL. But I still remember the look on my father's face, after I finished medical school and I was doing a residency in anesthesiology, and almost 2 years into that residency, I discovered the role of medical sciences liaison, which I still have a huge passion for this function and this role 13 years later. So I told my dad, like I'm thinking of moving into the pharmaceutical industry and becoming an MSL.
Yeah.
And I still remember him looking at me, and he just paused there, and I was like, okay, uh, what's gonna happen next? And then he just looked at me, and then he opened his mouth and he said, "Are you telling me that I paid 7 years of tuition for you to be a medical doctor, and I could imagine you wearing this white coat with the stethoscope and having your clinic here close to our house. So are you telling me all of that is gone and you want to go and sell drugs? So I told him, well, the way you put it, it seems like an episode of Narcos. But no, I'm not. I'm not planning on selling drugs. And I tried to explain to him like what really the impact is in becoming an MSL and joining respected multinational companies and trying to have a greater impact across the globe and up to this day he's still super proud and super happy of my decision and no he's living with it so it's fine. So yeah, so what is an executive medical director? Well, again, i- it's a role in the pharmaceutical industry. I'm not going to go into the super details, but
Yeah,
it's actually handling everything which is related to medical affairs, uh, uh, in my current capacity across the international markets. So whether trying to identify what are like the data generation needs and the evidence needs in those markets to provide faster access and also to be able to have that evidence for the physicians to feel comfortable in using or in terms of treating patients properly, medical education, um, uh, partnerships, working closely with societies, with centers of excellence. So a lot of things that are related. Maybe I'm unable to list everything now,
yeah,
but it's actually taking charge of the medical affairs
yeah.
for cardiovascular currently in the international markets.
Yeah, that makes sense. And now moving to the part where I want to find out a little bit more about what you're passionate about, right? So you're 13 years in the pharmaceutical field. What has been one area or one aspect that you're particularly passionate about and why?
So one area that I've been particularly passionate about is field medical. Some call it MSL or field medical excellence or field medical operations. But it's actually that role that I started with in pharma. I have a lot of respect for that role, and I feel that there is a lot of untapped potential in terms of what we can do with this role. And I even try to do a kind of a transformation for this role, and I still talk about that transformation because there's a lot of potential with MSLs globally and in the different companies to really deliver impact and to really bring value and improve patient outcomes. However, personally, I don't feel that everyone is really grabbing this potential and really utilizing it in the proper way and leveraging the MSLs and developing them and really empowering them to really reach their full potential due to certain reasons. Maybe that we will
Yeah.
not discuss those reasons in details,
All right.
but yeah, reasons that are well known, I guess.
Looking at your passion for the field medical sector, what are the five key areas where you see untapped potential or opportunities for improvement?
That's a very good question, Daniel. And yeah, I think the answer I'm gonna give, I'm gonna generalize a bit, but this doesn't mean that not it doesn't mean that pharma companies are not doing a good job. There are some companies that are very well advanced. There are some countries that are well advanced in the same company more than other countries. But I'm just going to give a bit my perspective from because I was an MSL, I managed MSL, I worked globally with MSLs when I headed the field medical function, and now also I'm working with MSLs. So, and what I hear also from other MSLs, this is where I formulated this sort of five areas that we need to work on. So, one, we need to make the hard choices, and by making the hard choices, it
Yeah.
comes from in terms of resourcing, like really bringing the MSLs early into the life cycle of the drug or the pipeline to really prepare the market, to really have those conversations, whether it was with HCPs, with payers, with societies, to really bring the knowledge that the technology that is being used and the understanding of that disease area, and also the mode of action maybe of the different drugs that are coming into the market, so that there is a proper understanding of the unmet needs and the specific patient profile, so that everything will be ready when the drug is launched. So that's one area, like really making that decision on investing early on in this role of the MSL. The second one is, how do we view the engagement through a new lens? We often see that you create a brand strategy, and then you go into a medical strategy, and then you go into a field medical strategy, and by the way, I hate that, because there should be only one strategy, and then you get tactics. But anyway, we're not going to debate that. We leave it to another podcast. But how can you really create a journey where, instead of, okay, strategy, tactics, engagement, and then black hole, how can we have the patient in the center and have really the engagement as a continuous journey, starting with what is the impact that you want to create for the patient outcome? Then the strategy comes in, the tactics, the engagements, and then you check your impact, you evaluate and potentially course correct, and then you go through that cycle again. So this is another area that I still feel
Yeah.
it's a need that has still not been very well, let's say, established in terms of our engagement. Incorporating tech and AI, we're losing a lot of insights, of information, and proper ways of
Yeah.
engaging with customers when it comes to improperly incorporating tech and AI into the work, and empowering our MSLs with the proper tools and engagement, like, for example, proper tools to identify experts, proper tools to really engage with experts remotely, or to gather the insights appropriately and share them internally and act on them. So there's a lot of potential to make their lives easier and really empower them, that we're still not incorporating properly. The fourth point is developing, upskilling, and retaining talent. And this is something I really love to talk about, because a lot of times people think that, oh, MSL is an entry level role. This concept that we have placed in the minds of people, that an MSL is just an entry level role and they need to aim higher on what they need to achieve next. This is very disturbing, because, in my opinion, and to this date, the MSL is the most important job in this company, because it's the eyes, the ears of the company. They are with the customers, they are listening to the customers, they are seeing the customers, and they really bring valuable insights, and they disseminate also valuable information. So, what more do you need in order to be a successful company?
Yeah.
And the fifth and the last one is, and I kind of mentioned it previously very quickly, but how do we track the progress and measure impact of MSLs? And this is very also sensitive for me, because I still see us looking at number of events, number of visits, number of interactions, number of phone calls, number of emails, and this is so frustrating, because quality is not quantity. And we should move away from just looking at these quantitative measures of operations to really value our MSLs and say if they are valuable and impactful or not. We must go further and think about the impact we want them to create, and are they creating that impact, even if it's long term, because this is the only way we really uncover the
Yeah.
value of our MSLs.
Thank you for actually, dissecting and giving key points that can be improved in the future when it comes to something that you really love. Now, when it comes to medical or pharmaceutical industry and healthcare professionals, the most common buzzword that I hear with all our guests and with all of the channels that we talk is omni-channel, omni-channel strategies, omni-channel approach, omni-channel this. So you know where I'm going with this. What are the common myths that you'd like to debunk? And all of this is based on your experiences, your own viewpoint, not on any company or any standpoint, but your own experiences. What are what are the common myths that you'd like to debunk?
Okay, the first the first myth, or is that you don't need omni-channel to survive. Like, if you can't really have a full-blown omni-channel strategy, it doesn't mean that you will fail miserably. It's just that that's our nature. I mean, like and businesses. Every time there's a hype, like every couple of years, there should be a new hype. So there was the hype of omni-channel, then the hype of AI, and then there's a hype, and then companies jump on those hypes, they start building solutions and they start selling those solutions, and then to sell those solutions they advertise them more and more and more and more, and then everybody is talking about the same thing because it's sort of an advertisement,
Yeah.
so that you start buying the solution from this vendor and the other solution from the other vendor in order to ride the wave and to be trendy
Yeah.
and in the hype. It's like, I don't know, Adidas releasing a new kind of clothing line, and then everybody wants to be wearing that clothing line. And I think the problem is they never ask themselves, well, do I need those clothes?
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem we're falling in, is that we jump on the solutions before checking if we have the needs and if we have the means to really address those needs with those solutions. Um, so that's one thing. And one myth, for example, is that people think omni-channel is multi-channel,
Mm.
and this is it's very important to kind of differentiate between these two. Multi-channel is having, as it says, multi-channels. So let's say I sell cars,
Yeah.
okay, and I have a website, I have an Instagram page, I have a Facebook page, I send newsletters by email. I have I don't know, a customer service representative in the showroom, and I have several showrooms. So that's sort of multi-channels. Like if you want to think about this car, or you Google this car, or you drive and to see that car, you can see that information in multiple places.
Yeah.
Omnichannel is about how I can take you on a journey, a seamless journey throughout, throughout the different touch points that you are embarking on with me as a company.
Yeah.
How can I take you through the different touch points where you get the information that you want in the way that you want, through the channel that you want, at the time that you want, and at the same time I'm able to gather insights from you
Mm.
on what you're doing, what you are choosing, what is your preference, what time do you like to receive your emails. So I get that information and then I provide. So it's like a two-way thing to take you on some sort of a seamless journey.
Yeah.
And this is omni-channel.
Yeah.
And not like I mentioned first. So sometimes in pharma, we fall in the trap of, oh, we have our emails ready, our symposia ready, our digital education ready. Yeah, you have all the channels, but now how are you going to take your customer on a seamless journey where he can access whatever he wants at the time that he wants, and really identifying his need and addressing his need with the proper solution that he would like to take?
Yeah.
So I think that this is one of the biggest myth, the omni-channel and multi-channel. I also said, like, you can have an omni-channel strategy without spending millions and billions.
Yeah.
So there are ways of really doing that. And omni-channel is not only about having like the best technology. It could be a blend of tech and other means, as long as you have your customer in mind. Start with the customer and don't start with the solution. That would be my takeaway
Oh,
message.
I love the ending. Start with the customer in mind and not the solution. Just jumping one step ahead, because you mentioned people are like, oh, now there's omni-channel. Let's take, the word omni-channel and talk. But now there's AI. Let's talk, about AI. That's where I'm going towards. As we move further into the AI era, how can we maintain a human element in the healthcare professional engagement, especially beyond digital interfaces?
Look, no matter how much pressure will come in terms of, okay, how can we maybe save costs? How can we replace some? And also, to be fair, it's not only about saving costs, but being more efficient.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of things that you can automate. And there are a lot of things that AI could definitely help. You could get faster insights, faster solutions. You can maybe even have faster trials or data generation just by leveraging AI, and AI helping you identify the right sites and the right profiles that you need to look at, or even identification of new molecules and drugs. I'm not undermining AI. It's going to be amazing in the way it helps in healthcare. My problem is that we cannot go with a one size fits all. So it doesn't mean that if AI can help with everything, it means that AI needs to replace the sales reps, and AI needs to replace the MSLs, and AI needs to be in every little thing. We need to really leverage AI where we feel that AI will provide value.
Yeah.
And if I look at the field functions and mainly the MSLs, it needs to be a blend of human expertise and AI
Yeah.
to really come to the perfect mixture or combination that will be impactful. And one thing I need to say, and maybe give you some funny examples, but like if you think about healthcare,
Yeah.
okay, healthcare is not a supermarket, okay, it's not Amazon or Walmart. With my utmost respect to all the industries out there, it's not like you dial a number and it tells you, "Hi, thank you for reaching the pharmaceutical line. If you are a sick patient, press one. If you're feeling a bit better, press two." And then you choose the drug that you want, and it tells you, "Okay, when would you like this drug to be delivered?" And then you get another call telling you, "If you did well on the drug, please press one. If not so well, press two. If you died, stay on the line. That that you're dead." Like, I mean, we should be a bit realistic that when you're talking about healthcare, there is a patient. There needs to be empathy. There needs to be emotions. The families are maybe being torn apart with sicknesses, with cancer, with genetic diseases. It's not something that you can just replace all the touch points with machines. I get frustrated calling a bank trying to speak to somebody. And sometimes I stay like 15 minutes on the line trying to speak to a representative, because sometimes you need that human. You need the human that understands what you want, can get you to the solution without having to go through 15 minutes of a call. And then at the end, it tells you, "I did not get what you want. To go back to the main menu, press zero." So it's really frustrating. And this is why I always say that let's find the right mix, and let's empower our people with AI
Yeah.
rather than having AI replacing our people.
Lovely. I just love the example that you gave. It just took me immediately to me making a phone call to the bank and me imagining the situation, someone actually calling and, hey, I have this disease, press one. So it's very, very relatable. And I also get the point that AI is by itself can help us, but we need the human touch to enhance the AI and its outcome. So beautifully explained. Now, what strategies do you believe are the most effective in bridging the gap between pharmaceutical industry and customer engagement?
Listening. This is everything I'm gonna. Whoever's watching that podcast, and he's watching this guy that they've met for the first time, and this medical director who's talking and talking and talking. If you just want to go back with one word uh, that might have an impact on your future business, is listen. Just listen. Don't assume. We often assume that we know what the customers want. We assume that, like, "Oh, I'm perfectly sure that this doctor who's sitting in his clinic seeing 20 patients a day barely has 10, 15 minutes per patient. His phone doesn't stop ringing. His family is asking if he's coming back home early for dinner. His secretary keeps asking him if he can take on more patients who are just walking in. The hospital is calling him for an emergency that just happened." And we expect that we will just walk in with our digital stuff and beautiful iPad and take him on a journey, and I don't know, and show him a hologram of a patient, and walk him through it, and then display lights on the ceiling, and take him through this journey of engagement, and that he will just leave everything and just listen to us, and go with us on that journey. Like, I mean, seriously, you need to know your customer, live with your customer, breathe, eat with your customer to really understand what needs do they have and how you can address those needs. This hologram might be perfect, but is it the right time? Is it the right customer? Is it the right space that you're using that? Or is there maybe something else that you could do to really support your customers in making their decisions and improving patient outcomes? So that this is what I would say.
Beautiful, Carlos. Like when I started this whole podcast today, I explained how good a storyteller and a musician you are. The last two parts, when you were explaining, you literally took me to that place. The passion with which you spoke and the examples that you gave actually so relatable, and it immediately understands why you do what you do. And if you weren't doing this, you wouldn't be so passionate about this. So I really appreciate the storytelling, your experience, and your insights. With this, we're almost coming close to the end of our podcast. On behalf of Kiosk and myself, I would like to thank you for being one of our special guests. And all I want to say is keep this passion. The next time we meet you, we want to see your own music album, and probably, we even have an intro pressing "Welcome to Digital Customer Experience Podcast" and your music running in the background. It was such a pleasure to have you in our podcast, Carlos. Thank you so much.
Same here. Thank you so much, Daniel. And I look forward to meeting you again, hopefully soon.
Lovely. And it was for all our viewers. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth discussions on the digital customer experience. Drop us a comment below with your thoughts or any questions that you might have for Carlos or our future guests. Until next time, stay curious, keep innovating. This is Daniel Paul from Kiosk.